Before we get into our 7-round Dallas Cowboys mock draft, all of our NFL draft coverage will be right here on the NFL Draft by Chat Sports YouTube channel. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. We're about to break down my first Cowboys mock draft of the season. Now, this is based on the current NFL draft order. Dallas has the number 9 pick. I use the Pro Football Network simulator because it has some of the comp picks, the projected ones, and it's got trades, and it's got a deeper pool of players. It's not quite perfect, especially in November. I'm not going to do trades, too complicated. The Sims can be bullied, where, hey, this guy is way too easy to adjust, and it's fixable, and it's just not a, I can manipulate it because it's just not set up the way it's supposed to be. Additionally, I can't fill all my needs. As much as I would like to be able to, I don't have the premium picks available to make it work. I can't fix everything all at once. I don't have the assets available. Now, we will do a lot of these mock drafts. So if you're about the 50% who don't like my first-round pick or other picks, don't worry. We'll do plenty of other ones along the way. So share that video if you want more of them in the future. Now, Cowboys picking number 9. Here were the simmed picks here. Travis Hunter goes to Jacksonville. No surprise there. Shedeur Sanders goes 2. Will Johnson goes 3. Cam Ward goes 4. Ted McMillan goes 5. Abdul Carter goes 6. Will Campbell to the Jets at 7. Nick Scorton goes number 8. So among your players who are left on the board here, got Michael Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia, plus other guys. You got James Pierce is available. Mason Graham, the Michigan defensive tackle. Ashton Jeanty is there out of Boise State. Luther Burden out of Missouri, a wide receiver. I like Kelvin Banks. For me, this came down to 2 players. Jeanty out of Boise State and Mason Graham. And I want to get this out of the way early. You guys, some of you out there, need to stop scouting the helmet. You might not like the winged helmet, and they might give you trauma from Mozzie Smith and Taco Charlton and Luke Schoonmaker. This is a different player. This is a different caliber of prospect than those guys were. Mason Graham is exactly what I have been asking this team to add for years now at the defensive tackle spot. He is disruptive. He is productive. He gets after the quarterback. He can stop the run. He is going to be a top 10 player in this year's class. If you really want Ashton Jeanty, fine. I'll say this. You have to spend money in free agency. Because otherwise, what you're doing is you're taking Saquon Barkley and putting him on the Giants and not Philadelphia. Because the supporting cast isn't good enough, and all of a sudden the running back doesn't look nearly as good as he does if the supporting cast around him was better. You need defensive tackle help too. I think Graham is just as good of a caliber of prospect as Ashton is. Not a bad pick. Just pretend he went to Michigan State. It's all you have to do. So pick one, and we will do a mock draft where I take Jeanty. Don't worry, we will make that happen. MG for Mason Graham, AJ for Ashton Jeanty. Let me know in the comments, just the pinned comment actually, of today's show. All right, some notable picks as we move to round 2. Unfortunately, I missed, maybe fortunately because I took DT early. Tariq Williams, Deion Walker, both off the board. Could have been, if you take Jeanty, go DT there in round 2. That's reasonable. Travion Henderson off the board. 2 right tackle options off the board as well. But I'm okay going back in round 2. I think Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. And this has number 1 running back ability. He's not as good as Ashton is, but he's a damn good prospect in his own right. Highly productive this past season at North Carolina and back in 2024. UNC is not a good football team. Have you watched that quarterback play? It's a disaster. Or the quarterbacks, I should say, for the Tar Heels. Hampton keeps putting up numbers, though. In a very, very, very good running back class, you have the ability to get a good one in round 2, get a good one in round 3, get a good one in round 4. Oh, you don't have a 4th-round pick. That's a bit unfortunate. Take Hampton in round 2. A Graham Hampton stat compared to, well, I guess you did have Derek Harmon on the board, which was kind of funny to see him there, based on the best available from the PFN sim. Could have gone that one, too. He's got a pretty popular buzz there. I will mention Harold Perkins because that is a very on-brand Cowboys pick. They love taking hurt guys in round 2, don't they? Kevin Winston's a fun piece. Evan Stewart brings you speed. Hasn't been, I was always going to be at Oregon. That's a little bit rich for me. But it's early. The season's not over yet. These rankings are going to change drastically between now and even the end of the season at this point. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It is available in 30 states: California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. It has an injury insurance policy. Player goes down the first half, does not return. Your lineups stay alive even if one of your players gets hurt. It's an awesome feature. Here's one of the, I'm going to ride my boy Chase Sr.'s prospects. He's been kind of hot lately. Christian McCaffrey, more than 78.5 yards on the ground. Christian Watson, more than 43.5 receiving yards. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS. That $50 is guaranteed, by the way. You don't have to win. You just got to play that first $5 lineup. Some notable recent picks. A couple receivers I like off the board, and plus Barron at Texas, who's like a really fun piece. I think would be a lot of fun. Plus, I love my safeties. You guys know me. Restrepo's a slot, but he's really good. I like Trey Harris at Ole Miss as well. There was a receiver I like, though, and that's my boy Elic Ayomanor out of Stanford. Now, he's not a burner, but he is a nice, bigger size receiver that can be your X, which I don't think you really have right now on this roster. Sorry, Tolbert. Sorry, Jonathan Bingo. The production has not been great this year. That's because Stanford's quarterback play sucks. They got nobody. There is at least, feels like, one play a game where Elic Ayomanor is just making ridiculous catches. You can go find, I think it was the Virginia game, where he's just like skying and making an unbelievable grab. He's had a 55-yard touchdown against Louisville again this year. Had a 60-yard score against NC State. Like he continuously makes, Virginia Tech I think was the game actually. He makes really good plays. Got good size. He's listed at 6'2", 210. The quarterback play has hidden him. He's really, really good. There were some other notable players here on the board as well. Jack Cornelius out of Oregon. Jabbar Muhammad could be a fun nickel corner option for you a little bit out of Oregon. I think he can play nickel in the NFL. Dante Corleone, the Godfather from Cincinnati. It's a fun fit. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. I think he's going to go earlier. But again, it's a great running back class. You can find a guy on day 2 and feel pretty good about your pick there. Now, regardless of round, who do you want the Cowboys to draft this year? Any round, any player, let me know in the comments section of today's show. Now, we will skip ahead since there is no 4th round. We won't do nearly as many of the here were the guys on the board because we've also got a bunch of 5th round picks. First up is the Purdue offensive tackle, Marcus Mbow, my bad, the M is silent, who is, I think, is an underrated player right now. There's been some Senior Bowl like hype and stuff from him. He has played right tackle for Purdue, has allowed 4 sacks this year, but not that many hits and hurries. I think he's a solid run blocker. I think he probably goes top 100. So, longer term right tackle option is good. Also worth mentioning, we're in day 3. We're in the 5th round. You're probably not going to be able to get instant starters in the 5th round. That's not operating how reality works for the Cowboys. So if you want instant starters, got to take them in the first 3 rounds. And you don't, or maybe the first 4 rounds, only have 3 picks there. All right, let's go back to the trenches here. Let's double dip at tackle, because if I were the Cowboys, I would sign a DT. I'd draft a DT. I'd either spend a day 3 pick via trade or another one. I would load up at picks on the defensive line. Shemar Turner can do some inside stuff, can do some outside stuff, has been productive in years past. He is part of a loaded Texas A&M defensive line. That's why the sack numbers are down. Guys like Shemar Stewart and Nick Scorton are getting home earlier. Like, makes it a little bit easier for you. Turner's a damn good football player on the interior. I like that fit for the Cowboys. Cobee Bryant, it's actually Jacoby, but, I'd probably go by Cobee there too. You might need cornerback depth. We'll see what happens with Jordan Lewis. I don't know how long the duo of Diggs and Bland are going to be together at this point. He's made some plays on the football. 4 interceptions this year. And one of the reasons why I picked Bryant for the Cowboys out of Kansas, he will support in the run. He is one of the better tackling corners in college football. That is draft eligible right now. 32 tackles. He doesn't miss very many of them. He will actually tackle, which you don't really have right now in the cornerback room on a consistent basis. Now, if you want more free Dallas Cowboys draft videos, come to the right spot. Hit the sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Free Cowboys videos all season long. Round 5, I actually like the idea of double dipping in the backfield, especially if you don't take Genty in round 1. At that point, maybe you don't double dip. Damien Martinez is a bigger runner. He's listed at 230 and some change there. I think he pairs pretty well with Omarion Hampton in the Cowboys backfield. Began his career at Oregon State, ran for about 6 yards per carry. Now at Miami, Florida, running for about 6 yards per carry in a more aerial attack offense. I like Martinez. And also, his workload has not been overly high in his college career. He's not going to have 700 carries like some of these backs end up doing. So day 3, I am not opposed to spending a day 2 pick and a day 3 pick on a back. I think, especially if you don't retain Rico Dowdle for whatever reason, you got to get more talent in there. This might be my favorite pick, actually, relative to the value. It's not the number 1 player, obviously. Antoine Powell-Ryland. I don't really know why he's not getting more love right now, because he has been really good this year for Virginia Tech. He is actually second this season in sacks. He's got 13. His pressure rate is 15 and change, which is indicative of, okay, he's just getting a lot of pressures. It's not like it's all fluky stuff there. He had 9.5 sacks last year for the Virginia Tech Hokies. He's been awesome. Now, he's not a great run defender, but a situational pass rusher in the 6th round who's been super productive, yeah, that makes sense to me. We'll see how he tests. I think that's a valid concern, but I don't think there are that many guys that can get, double-digit sacks in the ACC basically back-to-back years and have zero talent. Like, get some juice in there. You can keep Nealand. Nealand's more of a run setter anyway. There's another pass rush guy when you don't know what you're going to have out of Sam Williams moving forward. Round 6, again, I got my safety, who I think is going to go way earlier, by the way. Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. A true breakout campaign this year for the Fighting Irish safety. You guys know that I'm a sucker for safeties, and you know how much I like ball skills. Look at that production from Xavier Watts. 12 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, 11 pass breakups, 7 INTs last year. The Sims are kind of broken. He should not be available in the 6th round, but that is a damn good safety prospect that I'm just gonna take advantage of the Sims. Like, I will simply draft the good players. I've often said that. That's all you have to do. Round 7, Jay Higgins out of Iowa. Pretty good coverage linebacker for the Hawkeyes, by the way. Good tackle numbers too, if you value that. I think at minimum, this is depth at linebacker and can be a core special teamer for you. Again, this guy averages about 10 tackles per game the past 2 years. Now, the numbers will be down a little bit this year because Iowa's not on defense as much this year. There aren't as many plays for them from just the per down basis perspective. But 7th round, linebacker depth, special teams help. There you go. So to recap the mock draft, sorry I can't fill all the needs. Mason Graham, Omarion Hampton, Elic Ayomanor, Mbow, Shemar Turner, Cobee Bryant, Damien Martinez, Antoine Powell-Ryland, Xavier Watts, Jay Higgins. Grade the Cowboys mock draft for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Sound off. You can be honest. I can take it in the comment section of today's show.